Where we at? Where they at though? Okay, so apparently, like, I've got some glare on the screen here. Let me put that in there. Ah! I'm gonna wait for everyone to filter back in since I screwed up so massively. What's up, guys? Sorry about that. Here is, what the hell? They won't let me show this video, which is bullshit. Let me see here. It's so weird. They won't let me show you the video post because the ad's been deleted, but that doesn't sound right. Yeah, so here is the original opt-in ad, Sean. That was the first one we did, and that did pretty all right, actually, because it was a pre-announcement. You can go to the old post, Sean. That's still there. I didn't delete it. It's still there. So you can go to the old post and see those other links. I'm sorry, Sean. I had some glare in the screen here, and it looked like the end live button was the submit button. So I would put, like, I copied in the link, and then I pressed like, okay, end the live stream. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, for some reason it will not let me show you the trailer that we worked so hard on. But this is a shitty trailer we did that actually did pretty well. We still got lower opt-ins with that link post ad that I sent you. So yeah, for some reason, videos didn't work so well for us. I'm not willing to say that because, number one, commonly in marketing, they say that. They'll be like, videos opt-ins are going to cost you more, but they'll buy more. They're usually higher quality leads because they've like sat there and watched, everything going on with your offer. So they'll probably buy more down the line because you've communicated with them more. But a lot of us indies are budget strapped. We can't afford like 60-day ROI. We're looking for 10-day ROI, right? So we went with the cheaper option because we were completely bootstrapped. Now that, Nino's got a little bit of revenue to play around with when marketing, maybe we would try that out. But link post opt-ins, which is just an image with a button and some copy, worked better. They got us cheaper opt-ins, and it didn't seem to affect our sales negatively. Like, we were still able to ROI. So is there anything else you want me to clear up, Sean, before thank God that glare is clearing up? If there's anything else you want me to take care of, I'd be happy to. I think there's a few more things from the Indies group that I wanted to clear up. Let me go back to this other one. Screen saying video ended. Yeah, it did. Does the general, okay, so Stuart, are you in here? Yeah. All right, word. Campaign hitting a sweet spot, but just in the United States or United Kingdom. Yes, you totally can. The reason that, because this is the thing. When we went to go teach indies how to Facebook advertise the right way, the main thing we ran into was not that people were targeting too few countries. It was that they were targeting too many, or the completely wrong ones, because they were like, oh, India gives me 2-cent opt-ins from cold audience, so I'm going to advertise to India. So that was the tide that we were fighting, creating the course. You can use less, right? You can use less, but here's why I don't. You don't need a local audience anymore. The days of you needing to establish a regional audience and then iteratively take it to other areas is over. We're in a global economy now. We have the internet. Stuart, you're in the UK. I'm talking to you from the US. We met completely by internet interactivity, right? So the potential for a global audience, you're not hampered at all. If you decide to market to a global audience, it will not be any worse than marketing to a local one. Now, is there a pro? Well, yes, there is a pro. It is. Let's say I have, okay, for instance, I'll give you the analogy through lookalike audiences, right? if I have a customer list, people who have bought my product, and I tell Facebook, make a lookalike audience based off of this customer list, but only in the US. It's going to take the 2.9 million people in the US who look most like this customer list, right? I'm sad to UK fans, I can gig to them, right? Yeah, a gigging audience. That is the pro, isn't it? If you're a gigging band, I get it, because I gig too. This is developed for e-commerce, so that's why we try to have a larger pool. Reason being is, you're much more likely if you're targeting the people who are most likely, and the pool you can draw from is greater, then the audience you end up with will be more close to who you're looking for than if the pool was smaller. Does that make sense? If the sample size is greater, I can be more shrewd about what type of person I'm looking for and still get 2 million. If it's smaller, I have to kind of loosen my standards a little bit to hit the sweet spot. So that's why we recommend going with the big six, because yeah, exactly. You're gonna be more stringent because you have more to play around with. So you can really get specific about who you're targeting. And but if you have a local incentive, I think that there's complete validity to that. It's not something I've done a whole lot of work on. I'm trying to create global audiences for e-commerce purposes so that people can develop out digital products, ship products around the world. That's cool to me. I'm also a gigging musician though, so I'm right here with you in saying this stuff's got to work with the affirmation stage being just a concert ticket, right? We get them involved, we bring them into our email list, and then we hit them and we say, we're coming to town. Let's buy some tickets, right? I think that could be a great first product, and I'm open to seeing you innovate, and I'd be happy to lend any help or opinions that I can in your pursuit of innovating that. I think it's very valid. One thing you're going to run into is higher ad costs. It's probably going to be the case. You're going to pay more than you would have, not dramatically more, but when you're dealing with, 1 cent or 2 cent video views and you're going to scale, that's double the money, right? So you might be dealing with a very small increment, but as you scale up, double $100 is not a big deal. Double $10,000. Pretty big deal. It can cut into your profitability and your ability to make this a real business that you all are able to eat off of. So that's the cautionary tale. It's just that you should expect to pay a little bit higher, and you need to be really, really specific about what it's all for. You need to be running video views so that you can then retarget to the show page where they can buy tickets and you're coming that week, right? Just like we did with, you don't want to leave it floating. You want to just hit it very strategically. Yeah, it does make the lookalike audiences more accurate, because if in the US there's 380 million people, right? So if I go say, get me 1% of the US, give me 2% of the US audience, it's going to be around like 3.9 million people, right? It's going to be 3.9 or 4 million people. Or no, more than that, almost 5 million, right? So I say, get me 2% of the US audience, give me 5 million people. And then if I go and I add in Great Britain and Australia and New Zealand and Ireland, and I say, get me 1%, I will get the same amount of people, but they'll be much more like my seed audience than the US 2% audience. Does that make sense? No, I kind of stumbled on that explanation, but yeah, it's true. It's more accurate, and it's just better in general to have a scalable audience and a lot of variants to choose from. The algorithm is going to work better for you. Also, having a worldwide audience is just tight. There's also that aspect of it. When I send off a package to Japan to Taylor Hutton Potts, that's the dude's real name, he's the man, that's cool for me. When I send out Sweden to David Heldorn, right? I send out to Norway, that's cool for me. I really like that aspect of it, having a global audience, but to each their own, and especially if it's going to mean that you get to run gigs consistently and sell them out and build that way, it's a great strategy. I'm not saying that it's not going to work for you, and I encourage you to try it out. And I can give you all, if you need any more specific information about how me and Nino did that, I'd be happy to give it to you. I'd be happy to give you the template for that page on ClickFunnels if you want to sell your own tickets. And I also don't recommend going with a ticket service. What me and Nino are going to do is, he's got a huge audience in Massachusetts. We've got like 300, 400 email subscribers just in the Massachusetts area, New England. And I'm from there. I know the venues there. We could probably figure out how to get a booking at the Middle East, or even rent our own venue, and then sell our own tickets and not go with a promoter, not go with a booker, you know? And that's tight. Like, when you can start selling out your own shows and you're behind it all, and you can sell merch at the shows, you can do anything. So I'm sprinting towards that strategy of touring over the next 6 months. Me and Nino are really going to try to leverage everything we've learned about the buddy system, everything we've learned about marketing, to put together his own tour. And I'm super excited about that. And I'd be happy to share any information we learn with you, Stuart. If anyone else has any questions, anyone else wants me to clear anything up, or wants to know anything, or needs a resource or anything, I got your back. I'm here to answer questions for the next 15 minutes. I'm out here. So let me know in the comments. And then I hope everyone I posted earlier today some Kanban templates if you guys need any project management help. Whoever shows that. You know what, Stuart? That's interesting, because on the podcast, every chance that I've gotten, I've asked people, have you seen any unique products? Like, especially marketers who I know what I mean by a unique product. Because in marketing, the first thing they teach you is like, you've only ever got offer problems. You need a unique offer. And uniquifying your offer is like a huge part of marketing. I don't just sell you, I don't just sell you track pants. I'm going to sell you track pants with a workout DVD and a sports bottle for $20, right? You get the whole package, right? Something exciting that's not just like, awesome track pants, right? So I always ask marketers in the music space, have you seen any unique offers? And I haven't gotten zilch. But what I've been thinking is that, like, Nino's all about higher consciousness, right? He's all about like organics and anti-GMOs, and like, he's a conscious individual, right? He's woke. He loves tea. He's got a favorite tea spot in Orlando. He brought me there. He's like, you got to try this tea. I love these guys. Here's how the tea gets here. He knows the whole backstory and shit. And I was like, dude, let's figure out how much they'll sell us a whole shitload of tea for. Let's get our own bags printed, and then you offer your favorite brand of tea to your audience. They're all like you. They're all into this stuff. So instead of offering them like a t-shirt or a CD or something that's like, anyone can offer them, let's offer them something specific to who you are. And that's really what I want to start seeing a lot of. Right now, we got an indie, Ed Isola, and his band, the 502s, who are fucking awesome. I hang out with those dudes, and they are about to release a video with all these little like cork statues in it. And I was like, man, if you could sell those cork statues and the CDs free with it, that'd be cool, right? So I want to see artists starting to develop products that are not something they've seen before, but something relevant to what they're all about, Like back in the day when I was a rapper, I might have offered like my own brand of blunts and like my own brand of digital scales, right? That would have been an ideal product for me in my youth as an artist. So I'd much rather, like Wiz Khalifa, for instance, has his own brand of weed and his own rolling papers, right? I bet that's way cooler a product for his audience than some Wiz Khalifa hoodie. So yeah, that's what I would recommend is make it about you, about what your band is about. And there's all types of ways to do that. I know it's not straightforward or intuitive. Like you can't extrapolate from the tea idea what your band's going to do. But I'd be happy to talk it through with you. If you have any ideas, spit them out in the comments and we'll workshop some ideas. Lewis asks, is there any way that we can reduce costs for international shipping? We're getting a lot of response on our video campaigns in the US and New Zealand. When it comes to sending CDs, merch could eat into profits. Lewis, where are you? You're in the UK and you've got response in US and New Zealand. because you can do here's one thing. My one and only coaching client, Cameron Bird, who I took on to just figure out, can I offer a valid coaching service? Is it going to help? It's kind of like a test run. And we've been doing awesome stuff together. And he has figured out a solution where his CDs are actually printed and shipped on demand in the US. So if someone orders from the US, they're going to get printed in the US and shipped out to them in the US. The only drawback is you can't personalize them. You can't sign them, which kind of sucks, right? I'd love to figure out a solution for that. I just haven't yet. But you could supplement that. Like, hey, if you buy the CD, when it gets delivered, I'm going to call you and let you know, and I want to talk to you about it and see how you like it, right? Like, that's a way to uniquify and personalize your offer, even though you can't sign them. So you can find fulfillment centers in the US. If you actually tag Cam Bird in the Indies group and ask him what he uses for fulfillment, and he's got your back. Now, as far as in New Zealand or in Australia, I don't know, but people will pay the shipping, is what we found. People, we ship all over the world. We get probably half and half international and domestic orders. So, people will pay the shipping. They understand. Especially if you live in Australia or New Zealand, you're used to paying like a shitload of shipping on cool things, because not all cool things are in Australia and New Zealand. And anyone has to pay a shitload of shipping getting stuff over there. So it does suck, and I would love to find a fulfillment center in Australia too. I just don't know of any. So yeah, that is all. If anyone has any more questions, I'm here for like another 10 minutes. I'd be happy to go over some stuff, answer some questions, including if you want to know anything about Nino's membership service, if you want to know anything about the buddy system or what's coming up in terms of training, if you need any help connecting trainings together or understanding how they work in unison, I've got your back. I really want to make sure that no one's floating out in the dark. I want to make sure that everyone kind of understands how this stuff is supposed to link together, because, we throw a lot of information at you, and to me, it's all unified, but to you guys, it might be a little bit scattered, and I want to bridge those connections for you. For membership, yeah, I don't know about Bandcamp's membership service, but we use ClickFunnels for like everything. We have a $300 a month ClickFunnels account that is worth it. It's so rad. So yeah, we do use ClickFunnels. You can use Patreon. Amanda Palmer's got a badass Patreon. She makes like 30 grand every time she drops some content. You can totally use Patreon if you're not that tech savvy. I don't like giving percentage of profits away to a company that's supposed to facilitate stuff for me that I can facilitate for myself, but I'm not the average use case. Like I would rather pay ClickFunnels $300 a month and know that it's only going to be $300 a month ever than give Patreon a percent of my money regardless of what I scale to. Because if you're going to scale your Patreon, it's not because of Patreon, it's because you did the marketing work. So they shouldn't get a percentage. They shouldn't get part of that, right? They should only get part of the initial service they're offering you. So I'm willing to pay a little more on the front end so that I know when we turn this massively profitable, when Nino's at 100,000, Facebook likes, and we've got 30,000 email subscribers, that I know that we're not going to pay a dime more than back when we had, 28,000 and 3,000. So that's why I like ClickFunnels. But yeah, Patreon's valid. Yeah, and offering free downloads sucks. I don't know if you heard, because I got blinders on. Like, I don't know what content reaches you. I don't know if you've heard our podcast, Top 10 Worst Performing Campaign Ideas, or if you've heard me talk about this in another piece of content. So sometimes I get tired of hearing myself talk about something. I don't know if people are hearing it, but yeah, free downloads are the shittiest offer. I know that I don't want to step on like other music marketing, guys' toes. I know that there's other people offering music marketing advice. Yeah, and they're like, oh, just offer a free download and people will give you their email. That's not true. Like, no one's going to give you their email for I wouldn't even give, like, I love let me think of an artist that I'm loving. I love Fiona Apple, right? If Fiona Apple offered me a song off of her album for my email address, I would not take the time to do it, okay? It would have to be like, I am releasing a song that I will never release again, and it's only available to 100 people. Currently, there have been 28 people who have downloaded it. There are only 72 copies left of this MP3 file, and I will never show it to anyone again. Do you want it? Like that. I'm like, fuck yes. I will go give you my email address for that. You know, that's unique. That's cool. There's a limited, urgent nature to it, right? Now, you can't do that at scale. You can't keep on making songs and giving out only 100 of them. That's like a stunt. So what we do is we offer multi-day permission experiences. Stuart, if you're in the building your permission offer training, then you'll learn all about this. You'll learn all about it. But we try to make it as unique and cool a thing to get on our email list as possible. We treat it as like a huge release campaign. Like, okay, we're about to come out with this album, but 2 weeks before it releases anywhere else, we're going to give it to you for free. And during that time, we're going to walk you through it day by day, the whole album, and show you content from the album that no one else will ever see. It's only for you because you're on this experience. And then we're going to live stream, conference call, text, call you personally. Like, we're going to talk, right? That's what we did with the audio trip. And that has a lot of components to it that will be successful if replicated. Number one, interactivity. Being interactive with your audience is always going to be cool. You know, like if one of my favorite artists or an artist that I even generally admire hits me up and says, hey, I want to give you my whole album and I want to talk to you. Like, I'm gonna be down. And then giving away, like giving not just some downloads, but something audacious where they're like, holy shit, he's just gonna give me the whole thing for free. You kind of want people to be like shocked by the value of your free offer. And then another component of it that worked really well is spending 2 weeks with these people, right? We didn't just, here's our files, right? It sucks. We were like, we're gonna give it to you day by day. We're going to walk you through how it works, right? So yeah, well, no, people are turned off by it. Don't get me wrong, Stuart. People are turned off by it. That's the point of it. So the point is to separate the wheat from the chaff. Like, we introduced ourselves, we educated them on who we were. So if they don't give us permission at this stage, they're probably not our people, or we need to adjust these campaigns. But if enough people give us permission, then it's not that the permission offer is wrong. It's that it detracted the right people. It's not that we didn't do our work here. We did our work because enough people are opting in. So it is supposed to show a few people like, I don't want to get 12 days of email from you. Of course you don't. You're not the right person. And that's what, like, we're not afraid to turn away people. In fact, you should be polarizing people. You should be saying, like, if you're this, then this is not for you, right? I do that with my course. I'm like, listen, if you don't have material to promote, you probably shouldn't take the course. Number two, if you want to just like get signed to a major label and you don't want to do the work, you're not an entrepreneur, you probably shouldn't take my course because you're going to be pissed off. It's a lot of work, right? So yeah, polarizing people is an important part of doing effective marketing because you don't want everyone. Direct response marketing is about taking a huge sample audience and knocking out everyone that doesn't matter and finding the people who you are actually looking for. And I like to just think of it as this. There are 8 billion people in the world now, okay? Or almost. So if you want 5,000 fans, right? And that's all you really need to have a multi-six-figure-a-year business. You just need to find the 5,000 people out of all those 8 billion people who are most like you, okay? Now, if you needed 1 million people, it would be 1 in 1,000. If you needed 100,000 people, it would be 1 in 1,000,000. You only need like 1 in 1 billion people to be your right person. Do you think that you can vibe with, 1 in 1 million people? Do you think you can vibe with 1 in 1 million people? I think you can, right? There's probably 1 in 1 million people that will dig what you have to say. So that's kind of what we'd like to focus on. I think the last time I did the numbers, it was like, in reality, what we're looking for is like 1 in 20,000 people. But yeah, you want to turn a lot of people off. If you're not turning people off, you're not really doing the work. You're being too light in your introduction and not targeting enough people. From a show, if you were starting a cold traffic video, time might be for interactive experience details. Yeah, we bypassed the audio trip when we did the live show thing, because the audio trip is a permission, nurturing, and affirmation sequence. It's supposed to accomplish these 3 steps. We got people to introduction and education with video view traffic, and then we didn't really ask for their permission, actually. We kind of just wanted to go right to affirmation, get them to buy tickets. You know, so you can skip a few steps with the right campaign, because if you think about it, we were offering them a free CD with their ticket or with their meet and greet pass. So we're giving value on the front end. So that kind of allows us to play around with that. Just like free plus shipping and handling offers, you can do those to your warm audience, even if they haven't been through your permission experience, and it should ROI for you. Same principle. If you have a really, really value-packed offer, you can play around with offering it to people. So what we did was we did 3 weeks of marketing the music video to the target geographic area, and built a lot of top of funnel awareness for that. And then we marketed the ad announcing that we were coming to town, right? That, like, right after 3 weeks of it. Yeah, exactly. Ticket sale is the first purchase for them. What's awesome is that when they get to the show, there's ascension, right? We sold $3,000 in merch at the shows, and the promoter was like, I've never seen anyone with such a small following online sell that much merchandise. That's crazy. He's like, you guys sold out of merch. And we were like, fuck yeah, dude. We do our business. Like, we do our jobs. But yeah, so I would say you only need about a month, of headway to do something cool. And if you have a really well-performing video to do it with, you're not launching a cold, like, if you have 100K views on a video and then you use that as your asset in building that top of funnel awareness for a geographic area, all the better. We used a 700,000 view video to do it, and it worked really, really well. Estimate roughly what percentage of people who take the permission offer make it all the way down to affirmation and become customers. Okay, we have roughly like almost 3,000 people now who have taken the audio trip. We have 473 customers. Okay, so that's about 15%, I would say, about 15%. And then also, yeah, and that's just for the audio trip product. Like, so none of those are people who came into the store without taking the audio trip. That's a different customer number. Trying to plan out a budget for ours, but I have no data to work with. Got you. Yeah, I mean, really, we only spent $900 getting people to affirmation. That was our first, push from introduction, education, permission, nurturing, affirmation. We spent about $900, and we got back like $4,000. We printed some merch pretty much immediately in the affirmation stage. Remember, in order to liquidate $1,000 of marketing, you need to sell 50 $20 albums. It sounds pretty simple, right? You could call 50 people on your experience and be like, dude, do you want an album? Like, you could phone sale it, dude. And you'll probably get that many. Like, it's not hard. The point is to get to a point where all this runs automatically, and then you can scale. You can start to spend more, and your numbers hold. So we know for Nino, we're spending about $17.25 to acquire a customer. That's how much marketing it takes to get them in the door. We make back, after the cost of the product sold, about $36 and like something, 53 cents or something like that. So we have about a 2x ROI on our funnel as it is. And we can make tweaks here and there. We can get a better ascension stage in place, which is what we're working on right now, to push those numbers higher. And then the more we spend, the more we make. That's how this works. So you're getting a marketing system in place and so solid, and all the numbers so static, that you're just one input, add dollars. Just add dollars right here, and it goes through the system and comes back out more money and more fans and more attention. That's what the buddy system is. It is a machine. And once you have yours fully constructed, once you have campaigns in every stage of the buddy system, that will have an ROI associated with it. And if you build it, it's not going to change dramatically as you scale. You can target more and more audiences and get more and more money out the back end. What we've been doing is we take all that money and we spend it either on products, camera equipment so that we can do the shows, or new fans. We buy new fans. And we're about to go ham with it. This is phase 2 of Nino's marketing was, okay, let's get a continuity process in place. Let's get a membership site in place so that we can reliably ascend. And that's actually going to become one of our main products. And the ascension becomes use your rejects discount to buy merchandise. So once that happens, then we're going to go full scale. We're going to try to get to 100 grand by next year in terms of Facebook fans. We want to scale our customer list, double it in the next 4 months. That's really our goals right now. Because we have a funnel in place that we know will at least make that back, much less if we're able to ascend properly, it'll have a higher ROI. And then we're really going to focus in on touring, as we've been talking about with Stuart. We really want to figure out, can we put on our own tour? Can we just say, like, fuck all these bookers and fuck, venues and all that shit and promoters. I'm not dissing you, Stuart, but like in hip hop, promotion is like, it's a dirty word, promoters. And should we just throw all that shit to the side and do it ourselves? Can we just put on a whole tour by ourselves? Probably. I'm guessing yes. Because like we always do at this time, what we know is the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters in all of this is how many fans you have. How reliably can you create fans? How many fans? And the more fans you have, the more power you have. You don't need music industry professionals. That's what we've learned, is that the more fans that you have, the less you need music industry professionals. And music industry professionals are not very good at creating fans. They're not very good at it. They don't know a whole lot about how it works. They're not in touch with human psychology and the roughness of being an artist and the artist to fan relationship. They're not great at it. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So you don't need a promoter. Exactly. You don't need a promoter either. So yeah, that's what we're all about, man. We're all about showing that as artists, you probably had an abnormal path here, right? It probably wasn't what everyone else went through. And you're more in touch emotionally with the human condition than most other people. And therefore, you are more apt to do business, to create a real upswell of attention and fans than some asshole in a suit who's telling you, oh, we're going to do the social media campaign for you. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? Yeah, no, and Lewis, you totally could, man. You guys have a great sound. I think, I think that it's crazy that it's been about 4 or 5 months now, and we're just getting to the point where Ed's about to launch his permission offer, and Cam's about to launch his permission offer, and Persia has, a working video asset. That's dope. And we're going to start to see a lot of people go like, oh, I have my email pockets like right here and here. I'm going to try to do some shows. I'm excited to see what happens. I know that me and Nina, we're going to try to be leading the charge there. And doing a lot of shows up and down the East Coast without anyone's permission. No one told us we could do it. We're just going to do it. And that's what we're all about. We're all about saying, what if we just did it ourselves? So yeah, I hope this has been helpful for everyone. If you got any last questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we're going to close out here in a second. Let me see here. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I'm about to dip out. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys not next Sunday, but the Sunday after for another live Q&A. We're going to gather questions beforehand for that one, so I'm going to put out a post, and then you guys can leave any questions you may have below it, and we're going to go over them systematically. Also, this worksheet is coming out. I put in the finishing touches on it today, and then I just got to QA it and pass it to the rest of the team. And then we're going to be putting out the buddy system worksheet so that you guys can start looking at it and being like, okay, what are my campaigns here, here, here? How does this all flow together? So you stop thinking like, I've got all these different marketing pieces. How do I connect them? This is how you connect them. And the PDF is going to have a full explanation of each stage, why it matters, what you need to pay attention to, campaigns that traditionally go in those stages. And it should make it a lot easier for you guys. And then on the Indie Pro membership, the big bad daddy training is going to be a buddy system training, where we're really talking about why does this make sense as a funnel for musicians, and how do you start to look at it so that you're never confused. You always know, oh, I need a better campaign here. I need to tweak my campaign in this stage. So peace out, guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of your Sunday, and I will see you tomorrow for Welcome Wagon. Welcome some new indies. Peace out, guys.